Okay, time. Mayor Daruwala, could you please do the prayers?
Jai Baba, Baba, please take over. Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more and more and more and still yet more till we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman till the very end. Jai Baba.
Jai Mayor Baba. Jai Baba, everybody, and welcome to today evening's session. Before we start, I'd like to invite our one and only Lord Meher Baba to please come over and join us for this evening. Not only join us, take over for all the entire proceedings of this evening. Let everything happen as per your will, Baba. Today we have with us Mr. Jimmy Khan, who's going to talk about the Blue Bus Tour. And he's got some interesting slides to be shown also. So I hand over to Jimmy Khan. Jimmy, all yours, sir.
Give me a minute, please.
Okay.
Give me a minute, please.
Okay, we'll give him 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Anybody wants to say anything? Berin Jasumani, you wanted to sing?
Wanted to what? Sorry?
You wanted to sing?
I wanted to sing what?
What? I don't know. Cha-cha-cha.
Well,
Jimmy, are you ready?
Jimmy only wants 1 minute, so we
Yeah.
can wait.
Are we ready, Jimmy?
Yes, I'm okay now.
Go ahead. Jai Baba, Jimmy.
Jai Baba, everyone. After I finish about the Blue Bus Tour, if there's anyone present who knows certain story relating to the Blue Bus, please share with us. It will only enhance our knowledge and our interest about the Blue Bus. So here we go. Baba hinted to the Women Monthly about the bus tour, and he said it rather lightly, and therefore the Women Monthly also took it rather lightly, and therefore the matter was not taken very seriously. Then Baba called Sarosh, Sarosh, who lived at Amartagar. He called Sarosh and said that I want you to buy a chassis of a Chevrolet chassis for a car. Well, those who are old timers will know that cars in those days were very big and sturdy and strong. So Sarosh buys a chassis for a Chevrolet car, and he takes, and Baba says, take it to Bombay, and you make a kind of a minivan on this chassis. And Baba gives very distinct dimensions and specifications as to how and what he wants in this van or minibus or whatever you call it. And if we talk about it, in the early days, these bus bodies were made of wood, and therefore the Blue Bus the body is made of wood. And there is this, after the engine, there is this driver's cabin, and behind the driver's cabin is where the passengers sit. And basically this tour was in the bus, the ladies were to sit, ladies and sometimes small children as well. So in the driver's seat, there would be Elizabeth Patterson, who would drive the bus, and next to Elizabeth, Iraj and Kakabaria would sit. The reason why Baba chose Elizabeth to drive this vehicle was that Iraj was not, by and large, experienced driving a bus. He always drove a car. And Elizabeth, during the wartime, she was used to driving. She was used to driving the ambulance. The ambulance is almost the same size as the bus. So Baba asked Elizabeth to drive, and Elizabeth surely agreed to drive this bus, and therefore she was the one who was driving the blue bus by and large. By and large. Apart from the blue bus, uh, there was also a car with the bus. I'm not too sure if at all times, but maybe sometimes there would be a bus, there would be a car, which Dr. Donkin drove, and sometimes Baba and Vera and someone else would sit in the car, and sometimes they would sit in the bus. Now, because there were women, Vera, Mani, etc. in the bus, between the driver's cabin and the bus, the area was boarded up. The idea is that the women don't look at the men and the men don't look back at the women. So it was boarded up. Now, talking about the structure of the bus, behind the driver's seat, there would be a single seat, a row of single seats, and on the left, there would be 2 seats abreast. So there were 5 rows, 1 by 2, let's call it 1 by 2. And in between would be the aisle. So, and it is said that there would be a sitting space for 16 passengers. 5 into 3 is 15, and maybe 1 extra. So that made 16 passengers. And it is also said that though there was room for 16 passengers, 16 seats, but in the aisle, there would be small stools placed, and bundles and parcels and whatever you have. And those who were extras, they sat on these stools. Now you got to imagine. Now, by the way, the blue bus trips were 4 in all. 1, 2, 3, 4 at different times. And it happened from the December of 1938 to the November of 1941. I repeat, so roughly around 14 months, lasted for 14 months. I'm sorry, I stand corrected because I said during the wartime, but war happened from 39 to 44. But whatever it is, Elizabeth had the practice of driving an ambulance. So that's one correction I have to make. And these 4 trips that happened during this time of 14 months, now they didn't happen all through. Baba came back to Ahmednagar. He went out for the second tour, came back to Ahmednagar, Mehrabad. He went for the 3rd time. He came back for the 4th time. So it's not that all 4 happened consecutively. I'm sure there were breaks in between these four trips. Yes. So as I said, Baba called Saros, asked him to take it to Bombay, make the cabins and the bus. So this is how it was. Secondly, for the structure of the bus, the entry and exit was from behind, from the back. The door, I'm talking about the door was at the back of the bus. But you will say, no, the door is in the front on the side. But in those days, the door was not on the side. The door came on the side after the blue bus tours ended, much later, in fact. But when the blue bus tours happened, the door was at the back. Now, what Baba would do is, well, it seems from what we read that the door was not 6 feet high. The door was relatively a short door. So what Baba would do is, he would come out first from the bus. He would stand at the doorway, and as the women came out from the bus, mind your head, and some of the ladies were rather tall, so they would bang their head, and Baba would say, "I told you it was Katie. It was Katie who banged her head once." Baba said, I told you to look. You didn't look. And Baba said, "Thandu pani laga, thandu pani laga." So this is how it all went. And I presume that I presume that Baba was the last to enter because he would make let other people sit. So a bus that could normally have carried 16 passengers was filled with 24 people sitting in the aisle as well, etc., etc. So this is how the travel started. And the very first travel started on the 8th of December, 1938. And Saroj brought the vehicle at Ahmednagar at Mehrabad. Please understand, all these trips happened and they started and ended at Mehrabad. The reason being, Mehrabad was not even conceptualized. Forget anything else. Mehrabad started, Baba moved to Mehrabad in 1944. I repeat, Baba moved from Mehrabad to Mehrabad in 1944. And these trips happened from 1938 to 1941. So the first time Saroj brought the bus to Mehrabad a day earlier, and Baba said that tomorrow morning we will start at 4:30. With Baba, it was always early to rise and early to bed. So the bus started from Mehrabad, from up the hill at 4:30 in the morning, and all crowding, etc., etc. And the bus moved on. These trips that happened, the traveling was through the length and breadth of India, north, south, east, west, center of India, you name it, and the bus traveled the length and breadth of India. It is interesting to know that you can say almost half of the ladies were Indians and half of the ladies were Westerners. You would say, where did all these Westerners ladies come? But they were there at this point in time, they were there. And as I read, the names of all these ladies are given, roughly 24 ladies, and only one Indian lady was born. As compared to Indian and Western, only one lady was born. Otherwise, it was 50-50. The bus, we have seen the photographs. I hope the photograph is being shown now. The bus in those days had a carrier on top. And Rana was given the duty of loading and unloading on top of the bus. The others helped her with the bags and beddings and bedrolls and whatever it is. But Rana would be the one who would go up on the roof of the bus, and she would put all the beddings, packages on the bus. So that was Rana's duty. Kitty was given the charge of food and refreshments. Kitty Devi was given the charge of food and refreshments. Now it so happened once that Baba would travel long distances and the food that was cooked in advance got spoiled during the heat in the sun, etc. So Baba was informed that Baba, the food is spoiled. What do we do? So Baba asked, do we have anything else to eat? Something like snacks or whatever. So Kitty said, Baba, we only have bread and cheese, and that is it. So Baba said, give the passengers, the ladies, tea and bread, and give cheese to Erach and Elizabeth, because they were the ones who were driving the bus. So, and they were the only two who would get the cheese and bread to eat. So Rana got very upset and excited. Rana said that I got up the earliest in the morning. I worked so hard. I put the bags and beddings on the bus. I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. I'm the one who has done most of the work. Why can't I get the cheese? So this is going on between Rana and Kitty. And Baba had this habit of getting into the scene at the right time. He would always be there at the right time, at the right place. So Baba is asking Kitty, what's wrong? What's happening? So Kitty said, Baba, Rana is asking for cheese and you told me to give it only to two. So Rana felt very sheepish because she was caught red-handed, getting upset and shouting. So Kitty felt very awkward, and She said sorry to Baba, and that is how things were patched up and pacified. Yeah. Now this, you got to understand that this was not an air-conditioned bus. The windows would be open and they would travel through the dusty roads of India, and they would take all the dust through the day. And there would be one break, only one break in the afternoon for lunch. And when they got off, they would all be covered with dust. And one would tell the other after getting down from the bus, hey, look at you. You look like a clown. Look at you. How do you look? How you look? So the other one would say, what about you? You look at yourself in the mirror. You see for yourself how you look. So all these funny things would go on. This venting would go on with each other. And the lunch would be under a tree, under a shade. So everyone would sit, I'm sure, on the ground and had their lunch, and they would be back in the bus. And that is how things went on. And the day trip would end at 6. Normally it would end early at around 6, but 6 is not early if you compare at the time that they started in the bus. So 6 is a long day in any case. So this is how they traveled. If Baba was, yes, let's see where Baba said, let's see where the other said. Baba said, Baba sat behind the driver in the bus, but his seat, the single seat, was where the driver sat. And Vera and Mani sat on the left side where it was a 2 people seat. Now, because the 2 compartments were boarded up, in front of Baba and behind Elizabeth, there was a small sliding window. So if Baba wanted to communicate with Elizabeth, who was a driver, as to what Baba wanted to convey to her, what Baba would do is, Baba would slide that small sliding window open, and Iraj is sitting next to Elizabeth. So Iraj would turn around, he would look at Baba through this window, and Baba would, on his board, dictate what he wanted to convey to Elizabeth. So Iraj is reading it, then he conveys to Elizabeth as to what Baba is trying to convey. And then the slide window would be shut. Even today, if you happen to go to Marazar, if you happen to go inside the bus, look for this sliding window. Look, it is still there. I don't know whether you can slide it or not, but a sliding window, you can see the sliding window. It is there. You can see it. Yeah. Once when Baba was traveling, he said, I'm hungry, I'm very hungry. Now, whenever Baba said, I'm hungry, someone will think that what about the others? If Baba is hungry, are the others not hungry? But there was a very different spiritual connotation to that. We will not touch upon that. To give an example, let's give an example. If someone somewhere on earth is dying of hunger or is in trauma and he needs to have something, so Baba would eat in that person's place. Baba would eat, and that energy and that, whatever you call it, would go into that person who's dying of hunger or thirst. So that basically was the reason. Baba has explained that. So Baba said, I'm hungry, I need something to eat urgently. So there were 2 ladies behind in the last row, and they had a stove with them. They had pots and pans. Imagine in this jaunting jalopy in this bus, these 2 ladies, they are preparing dal and rice. Frankly, if you ask me, I'm at loss as to how in a moving bus in 1938-39. People can sit and put the stove on the floor of the bus. How they started the chula, how they started it, how they made the almond rice is just anybody's guess. They did it. Their fingers must have seen. They must have become black and red and pink and whatever. Long and short, the food is passed on to Baba, and Baba ate that food. So I found that, I don't know, but it call it funny or interesting or whatever it is. Okay. There were times when Baba would be in a car in front, as I said earlier, and Baba would tell the driver of the bus, whoever the driver could be Eraj, it could be Donkin. Donkin also drove bus sometimes. So Baba would tell the driver of the bus to keep pace with the car. Now you got to imagine, just give me 1 minute. Sorry. Yeah. So now we got to imagine in this dusty, unpaved roads of India, a Chevrolet can go very fast. There were only 4 passengers inside. A very powerful car, extremely powerful car. It can go at a very good speed. But on the other hand, there is this bus that is overloaded, not only with passengers, but it is loaded on top with lot of luggage. So to steer this bus, there is no way you can keep up with the car. And Baba's car would fly, and this bus is trying its best, but of course they can't keep up. And now they enter a village or a small town or whatever it is, and the car went by. But what happened was that there was some celebration in the village, and there was some bunting, and there was some pandal and whatever you call it. With the result, the bus, which was further loaded with bags and baggages, couldn't have gone through that. So the people said, take another route and take another road, go from here, go from there, you'll end up. So this bus is going from not the road per se, but is going from another Kacha road, and the bus got stuck there. Naturally, it is the done thing, it is expected. And they couldn't help it. It just got stuck. Now what do you do? So they went to the village and asked people if they can help. And some villagers came, they tried to pull the bus, and nothing happened. And then some ropes were brought, nothing happened. Then a farmer brought 2 sturdy bulls. And on one end, the bus was tied up. On the other end, it was tied up with the bulls. And with the help of these 2 bulls, the bus made its way. And Baba said, where were you? Where were you? We have been waiting for you. We have been waiting. Where were you? So they said, Baba, this is what happened. And we just couldn't help it. And Baba again said, stay with me, stay close to me, etc. So this is what happened. Yeah. Another story is about Nargis Kotwal. Nargis Kotwal, Savak Kotwal's wife, was also on this blue bus too. And Nargis had her 2-year son, Adi, with her. Adi was very serious. He was very sick. And Adi was in Nargis's lap. Now, at a place, everyone got off, and Nargis requested Baba that, Baba, let me stay in the bus. Baba said, okay, stay in the bus. So everybody is out. Baba is also out. The door is shut. And Nargis, her 2 daughters, their 2 daughters were in in a school in Hyderabad, a very pricey school where Hyderabad Nizam's girls were studying. You can imagine in such school, Hilla and Naju were studying in a boarding school. And this Ali is in her lap, and Nargis is thinking, what will happen if Ali dies? Ali is only 2 years old, and Nargis, being a mother, those who are mothers will understand. Nargis is kind of in a mental trauma state. She's thinking, what will happen if my Ali dies? Now, Baba is outside the bus. Nargis is not saying it aloud. She is saying it within her. Baba heard her mental cry. Baba turns around and tells Nargis, you don't have to worry. There is no need to worry. Ali is not going to die. And sorry, you are not going to die. You will become a small old person and then you will die. So, and Nargis, sure enough, Nargis died when she was 91. Nargis died when she was 91. So what Baba said was that you're not going to die. Well, it came true. There were a lot of places that Baba went, and one of the places was a place called Durandar Falls at Jabalpur. This was exactly on 24th December 1938, and we heard about this Jabalpur Joke Falls, where Baba took the ladies to see the joke fall at night. Everybody has read that. So that happened during the time. Now, when this tour happened, there were arrangement walas. These arrangement walas would go in at, see, Baba's tour would be chalked out in advance, day to day. And the arrangement walas would go as an advance party, as a forward party, and they would arrange for cottages for the women Mandi, for the men who were there. They would arrange for the food for them. So there would be these guys who would be forward party, and they would wait for Baba and in the bus and the car to come. So this was their job. This is what they did in advance. Now the people who, one second. Yes, Baba also had a boat ride across the Ganges. And there are photographs. I don't know if you are being shown that. There were photographs of the bus on a barge crossing the river Ganges. The bus is put on a barge, and that is how the bus is transported from one end of Ganges to the other end. So that's another interesting part. Yeah. At one point, they were at Solapur, and they reached Solapur rather late. So Baba said, tomorrow morning, we are starting again at 4:30 in the morning. So there is no point and there is no time to unload the bus. And again at 4:30 or at 4 o'clock, load the bus. So just manage yourself, and without the change of clothes and beddings and bedrolls and bed sheets, etc. So some of the women spent the night on a chair. Some slept on the floor, wherever they are, in a dark bungalow or wherever they were. Some slept on the table. So that is how they spent the night. The bottom line is that to be with Baba, to be traveling with where Baba was not a piece of cake. It was always tough. Whether it was for men or for women, traveling with Baba was tough. And these men and women, they were made so. They were made to take on that tough life.
Sorry, Jimmy.
Yes.
If you want the slides to be shown, please stop and tell the person so that they can show the slides.
Please, I'll come in a minute. So in the meantime, please show the slide. Please go ahead.
Okay.
This is on the barge crossing the Ganges. Any other slides, Janice?
Uncle, I'll just reshare one moment.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you saw the bus that was then, in the sense how it was loaded and overloaded on top. And some of the parcels would also be in the bus as well. So Baba liked traveling like that, uncomfortably. Oh, okay, this is another photo of the bus. You can see the rear door. Lovely. You can see rear door. This is where the door was. Correct. And I told you earlier that there were 5 rows, and you can see the 5 windows. So everybody got a view of the outside from their windows, and you also have, that's right, and you have the driver's cabin in front. So I wish we had a photograph from inside, but you have. So this is where this is where the boarded place was. Janice, take the cursor between the drivers and the first curtain. Yeah, in between this is where Baba sat. Where you see the cursor, this is where Baba sat. And then there would be an aisle, and on the other end, on the opposite side is where, no, not on the, you can't show that. On the opposite side is where Mera and Mani sat. And in between the driver's cabin and the first window, Baba's window, was where it was boarded up. So when you go next time to Marazat, see for it boarded up area and the sliding window. So this is basically about the bus. So let's move forward. Now, someone has to ask me what were the objects of this blue bus tours. So let's read them. The 4 objects. The first was to contact the mosque. I repeat, to contact the mosque. Whenever Baba went length and breadth of India, he contacted the mosque, and this was a very good opportunity to contact mosques across India. Second was to find a suitable place to establish a new center. You all have heard of Beram Bangla at Bangalore, which unfortunately never happened. But so basically that was one of the objects. Thirdly, to give the women monthly. Women monthly were always cloistered up. They were always covered up from all sides. Firstly at Lower Mehrabad, where post office was. Then they moved to Upper Mehrabad, and all the time they were closeted with partitions. So this was a good opportunity for them, for the women, to see the whole of India and how the other people live, how the women lived, and how. So it was a good, you might call it kind of an outing for them and to experience different lifestyle of different people around India. And lastly, to visit the shrines and tombs of saints and perfect masters. So that was another reason why Baba traveled far and wide. Yeah, I talked about the arrangement walas. One of the arrangement walas was Chanji. Chanji was Baba's secretary, and he was one. He didn't travel with Baba. Almost no man traveled with Baba except Eraj and Dr. Donkin and the third gentleman. Others, they just helped Baba during the travel. Yeah, the names that I read, among the names were Pleader. Yes, on the left of Eraj, no, sorry. Kakabaria would sit. Elizabeth would drive. Sometimes Eraj would drive. Then Eraj and Kakabaria. So these were the three people who sat in the driver's cabin. Pleader, sometimes Pleader was with Baba. Kaka was, then Header and Walter Mentin were there. Donkin, Jal Kerawala was with Baba. Mohammed Mas. Baba told his Masaji, to bring Mohammed Mas someplace I forget now. So Masaji brought Mohammed Mas to Baba. Then there's a reference to Deshmukh and his wife. When Baba was at Nagpur, Deshmukh and his wife came to meet Baba at Nagpur. You all know that the Jasawalas were originally from Nagpur. And the Jasawalas joined Baba, but the father, Papa Jasawala, didn't join father immediately. He requested Baba to let him continue at Nagpur because only 1 year was left for his job. And then he could retire. And if he retired, then he would get pension and other benefits. So Baba said, okay, you work for 1 more year and then you come and join me. So, and you all know that the house, the big mansion that they were living in was sold off, everything else was sold off. So Papa Jasawala had hired a kind of a, not exactly a bungalow, but a house to stay in. So when Baba came to Nagpur, Papa Jasawala moved to some smaller room somewhere and he made available his house for Baba and the women Mandli to stay. And Papa Jasawala and the man, they lived somewhere else. So that's another thing. Now the question is, if the women stayed in a cottage or dark bungalow, wherever, where did Eraj and Kaka sleep? Eraj and Kaka slept in the bus, on the floor of the bus. So, well, that's how they lived and that's how they traveled with Baba. Yeah. When Papa Jasawala was living for 1 year away at Nagpur, he did not see his children, he did not see his wife, Gaimai. So at Nagpur, when Baba came to Nagpur, Papa was very happy because not only saw Baba, but he met his wife, he met his children, Iraj and etc., Merwan. There's this story about Merwan. Merwan was not taken on the tour, at one of the 4 tours, and he was kept at Akbar Press. Merwan was kept at Akbar Press, and they were told to look after Merwan when Gaimai and the others were traveling. Now, Merwan was around 8 years old, and being a small child, he was mischievous, and the people were harassed and haggled at Akbar Press. And they kept telling Gaimai, maybe by telegram or letter, whatever it is, that please do whatever you want, but you take Merwan away. He's a big bother to us and we can't manage him. He's unmanageable. So Gaimai was very distraught, as we call it. She was very upset. So Baba is asking Gaimai, what's the problem? Why are you such small-faced? Gaiman said, Baba, as it is, we are a problem to you. As it is, we are a burden to you. And now this Merwan is harassing these people, and they are saying, come and take him away from our press. So Baba said, it's okay, just ask them to send Merwan. So Merwan was brought to the blue bus and he stayed with the women. So that's about now, by and large, this 4 trips ends in November, December 41. These trips lasted for 14 months. In all, if we see, it lasted 14 months. Now, they are coming back in the last leg. They are coming back from wherever they are, basically from Dharwad. And Baba sends a telegram to Sarosh to come to Dharwad. So Sarosh comes to Dharwad. And now this is the last leg of the journey of Baba coming back to Meraba. So Baba is sending for Sarosh. Sarosh comes, and now this is something which I must read. Normally I don't like reading, I've never read, but this seems too good to be just said at random. So I'll read it for you. For the return journey to Mehrabad, Baba sent for Sarosh to come to Dharwad and drive the bus to Ahmednagar. This is as I said, this is the last leg of the journey. The group left on Thursday, 27th November, 1941. So the last stop before Mehrabad was at Satara. So they stay at a dark bungalow in Satara. There, Baba spelled out to Sarosh in front of Chanji, Nilu, and Vishnu. Now, what did Baba spell out to Sarosh? Let's read it. Quite interesting. This is the last journey of the blue bus. You are very lucky to drive myself and the Mandli in this bus on its last trip. You were the one who had it built. If you recollect, my very first or second sentence was, this Baba is telling Sarosh to go to Bombay and get the bus body built. So Baba is telling, you were the one who built it, and now it is you who are taking it on its final journey. Then Baba says further, this blue bus is like the chariot of Krishna. I repeat, this blue bus is like the chariot of Krishna. And after my manifestation, people will worship it. This bus should be sold in a lottery among our close ones. And the winners should keep it on condition. Baba said, whoever will win the lottery will keep the bus. But Baba gave a condition, and the condition was, and I read, that he does not derive any commercial benefit from it. He does not derive any commercial benefit from it, either by plying it. Plying it means to use it as commercial trips, or selling it. Whoever wins should not sell it. Whoever wins should not use it commercial. Last para, this bus has great importance, and to keep it, it is essential. Baba said to keep this bus is essential, it is important. I have done much work through it. Baba said, I have done much work through it. And it is Sarosh's great fortune to be driving God. Please understand, it is Sarosh's great fortune to be driving God in person on its final run. So Sarosh brought the bus, he drove the bus, and he brought the bus to Mehrabad. So this is the story. Now the bus journey ended. Now, what do you do with the bus? The bus is there, but what do you do with the bus? So Baba said, let's have a lottery. And whoever wins the lottery will take the bus. I think the number of people that Baba had restricted were 50, 50. And each one had to pay 50 rupees, 100 rupees, I beg your pardon, for the lottery. So 50 numbers were done, and they were amongst Baba's lovers, not the outsider, because outsider could eventually misuse the bus. So Baba was informed that Baba, we got 50 people. So Baba said, let's have the lottery. And Kaki Desai from Delhi, Kaki Desai was the one who won the lottery. And Kaki was informed, he was at Delhi. Kaki was informed that you have won the bus and you come and take it. The reason why it was called the blue bus, basically because the color of the bus was blue. That's why it was always called the blue bus. Now, Kaki said, what do I do with the bus? He was living in a rented house, and what would he do with the bus? So he sends a written telegram to Baba saying that, Baba, please keep it. It is yours. So that is how the bus fell in Baba's custody. Now, let's understand, this happened in 41. Baba moved to Merazad in 44, 45. So in the intervening period, where was the bus kept? I think there is no record of that, but maybe it was kept safely, and then thereafter it was brought to Merazad. Initially, now what happened to the bus was the engine of the bus, of the bus was removed. Then there is this driver's cabin. The whole of the driver's cabin is removed. Now, the bus is kept on the oil barrels. You all have seen those big oil barrels. The bus was kept on the oil barrels. After some time, the oil barrels were removed. The chassis underneath was removed, and only the shell or the coca was kept on bricks and mortar. So that is how we see it. Now, what happened was during around New Life time, maybe after the New Life, Baba was keeping seclusion at Merazad, and for a number of days, I think for a month, for a number of days, Baba would be closeted in this bus, and the rear door would open. It was kind of attached to the cabins. It would open in Erach's cottage, and if Baba wanted to relieve himself, he would open the door, go into the cabin, the cottage, relieve himself, and come back into the bus and close the door. Then it was around this time that the door on the left came into being. Earlier there was no door, so the door was made, and all the seats were also removed. Right, all the seats were removed. So there is only this coca empty cell that finally removed. Okay, now we come to 69, Jan 1969. Baba was very sick, very serious, and he was getting spasms after spasms. And his bed was ordinary flat bed as we see in Baba's room presently. So the women requested Baba to let them bring a surgical bed so that Baba can be propped up. He would feel better if the bed could be propped up and if a surgical bed could be brought. So for some time Baba delayed it, and finally, eventually Baba said, okay, you can bring it. So on 26th of Jan, Baba's bed was moved somewhere else and surgical bed was brought in. Effectively, therefore, only for 5 days, Baba slept on the surgical bed. And Baba dropped his body on this surgical bed, not on the regular bed. So to preserve this surgical bed, because Baba dropped his body on that, surgical bed was brought and put in this blue bus. And the original bed was brought back in his room. So when Baba had said earlier that in there's a word, and today what do we do? Today we go into this blue bus and we matha teko on the bed. So effectively, even now people are going inside as a reverence to Baba and the bed on which Baba dropped his body. So basically, this is the story about the blue bus. If someone wants to, please continue and say some stories that you know about the blue bus. I'll please appreciate.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Parent,
Yeah,
Jimmy,
Parent.
I don't really know if this is related to one of the tours or not. But was there a time when they were blue bus was crossing somewhere? I don't know exactly where, and there were riots, and Muslims would have trouble passing that road. So Baba changes Aloba's name and one other person's name at that time. And from that day, it became Aloba. Is that because I think it was on a bus, but I don't know what tour it was. You don't know that story?
No, could be,
Okay.
it could very well
Yeah.
be. See,
Yeah.
let us understand that
Yeah.
this bus tours happened for 14 months. Let's look
Right.
over a period
Yeah.
of 14 months, from 30th December to 41 November. And Baba traveled length and breadth of India. But so there could be hundreds of stories relating to the blue bus. So one of them could be this Aluba story. I would not know. I would really not know. But I have not come across Aluba's name. But maybe I have not come across many names, because a book has been made,
published,
which is the Blue Bus Tours, which is maybe 500 pages. So you can imagine the number of stories which are
there.
associated with the Blue Bus. So I will not be surprised if this was one of those days. Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
It could be very well. It could very well be.
Thank you. Thank
very
you.
well.
So I understand what you're saying, that far too many stories have to be there.
There could be one story for every day, for all you know.
Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right.
You were great. Thank you, Bapu. Thank you. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Yeah.
Uncle, shall I just show the pictures?
Please,
and you can talk about it.
Yes, I would like to.
Yes.
Please. No. Please. Yes. I talked to you about the bars on which the blue bus was put, and it was carried across Ganges. So you can see right now the blue bus is on a barge. The tall guy is Dr. Donkin. On the left, tall guy with a hat. Yeah, that is Dr. Donkin. The one with solar hat on his left with a coat, black coat. Yeah, this is Kaka Baria, according to me. And there are some Western ladies on the right side of the bus. Yeah, a couple of Western ladies. Just look at the pile. Just look at the pile of luggage on the bus. I'm surprised that the bus did not collapse. I'm really surprised. So, well, that's it. This is how they travel. Yeah, I was talking about the book. This is the book, The Blue Bus Tours by Susan McTair. Okay, another one. Yeah, we have seen this, but I forget the name of the place where the women stayed. Maybe one behind the bungalow behind. Not sure. Wow. This we will discuss a little later because this is the caravan. Next. Janice, yeah, even this. Janice, do show this when I talk about the caravan. Next.
Yes, uncle.
Okay. These are the ones. Okay, so let's talk about the caravan. Uh, okay, let's talk about this. This is Eraj. This is Baba behind in front of the bus. This is Pendu. Next to Eraj with mustache is Pendu. Pendu was Masaj's son. Pendu and Naja was Pendu's sister, Masaj's daughter. The third one is the Must Hunter. What's his name?
Baidul.
Baidul, sorry.
Baidul.
Third is,
Baidul.
yeah. And fourth should be Kakabaria. I'm sure he was Kakabaria. He always dressed like that. He always
It
carried
was-
a.
Jimmy, it's Gustaji.
This is
Babu.
Gustaji, Jimmy.
Gustaji.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. I beg your. Gustaji was the one who kept silence with Baba. Am I right? Yes. He was
Yeah.
the one. Baba ordered him to keep silence until his last day. Gustaji kept silence. And there are funny stories about Baba being silent and Gustaji being silent and Eraj being pulled up one day because he said, there are two Gungas, now I have to deal with both the Gungas. And Gustaji's sign language was very different from Baba's sign language. So Eraj had to play a kind of a dual role, translating Gustaji's and Baba's gestures. So basically, yeah, this is the blue bus. Pendu sat on this chair. Can you, on this kind of easy chair? Yeah, this is where I would see Pendu seated. Pendu was always seated and over here, and he would talk to the Westerners and the Easterners. Once Pendu told me to sit next to him over here. On the left of, there was a chair on the left of the easy chair. Right, I beg your pardon, right of the easy chair. So this is where he made me sit. He said, Jimmy, here best. But then he didn't talk to me much, and then I moved out. So basically this is. But if you look at the bus, today, I would say it is in a fairly good shape. It's 80 years old now. The body is 80 years old and still relatively in good shape. So this is about the blue bus. Okay, let's go to the caravan. If does anyone, yeah, this is, well, frankly, if you ask me, this looks more like, well, it isn't. I don't know where it is taken, but the Guru Prasad entrance was something like this. I'm sure it is not Guru Prasad, but the Guru Prasad entrance was something like this. The porch where the car went in and dropped Baba, and from the terrace where Mani took the film of the East-West gathering and the November 65 gathering. So this is, I can't make out who's seated in the driver's seat. I can't make out that. Anyway, let's go to the caravan. So
Jimmy, if I may,
please.
I don't know if this is related to the Blue Bus tour, but once Baba was passing through some terrain where there were dacoits.
No.
It's not this one, is it? Okay.
No, that was during the Persia tour.
Acha. Okay. Sorry.
Let's, since you mentioned this, Baba went out of India 13 times, 13. And his very first tour outside of India was in 1931 to Persia. And why do I use the word Persia and not Iran? Because the name changed. The name from Persia to Iran changed in 1935. And we are talking about 1931. Therefore, the name Persia. And he Initially, Baba went by steamship. I'm sorry, I'm digressing. He went, the first time he went by steamship, but then he traveled by bus, etc., etc. He traveled quite a distance by bus in Persia as well. So that's a different story altogether.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So talking about the blue bus is very closely attached to the new life. The new life started on 16th October 1949 and ended at the end of Jan 1951. I repeat, 16 October 1949 to the end of January 1951. So this is how the new life time was panned out. But let me tell you right away, when the new life started, Baba had never said that it's going to end within a year or 2 years. Baba said this is going to be for life. And because he said this is going to be life, he kind of showed it to people, because whatever was Mehrabad, Merazad, Ahmednagar, all the properties were sold off. Even the cars were sold off to kind of make it known that Baba is going for good. Maybe I'm digressing, but I need to cover the new life, and this is the right time to cover new life, because in a sense, directly, indirectly, it is covering the caravan. Let's talk about the men. Who were the men who were selected, and who were the women who were selected? Let's talk about the men first. Sam, I hope I'm not digressing.
That's okay. Fine.
Yeah, I'm basically on new life. New life is part of, the blue bus is part of new life. There was a kind of a circular bed wherein Baba had spelled out conditions for men. Whoever wants to join him in new life, conditions were spelled out, that these are the following are the conditions. You have to follow these conditions to the T. And at the bottom, it was not verbatim, but to that effect. At the bottom was, I would like to join. I do not want to join. Name and signature, and maybe the date. I repeat, conditions. Yes, I would like to join. No, sorry, I cannot join. And signature. There were no ifs and there were no buts, and there were no provided. You want to join, you join me on these terms. Otherwise, say I cannot join. For some, to give an example, for Padri wrote no. Baba called him and said, you don't want to come? You're not coming? I would have liked you to come. And Padri said, no, Baba, I don't want to come. So Padri did not join Baba during the new life. He was holding the fort at Mehrabad. So Padri didn't join. Some who wrote, yes, I would like to join. Baba said, I'm sorry, I cannot take you. You will not join. To me, one of the reasons could be, or maybe the reason could be, let's say two reasons. One is the age. One could be the age. If a person was elder.
Sorry.
If a person was elder, and Baba knew how tough the new life was going to be. So he said, sorry, you cannot make it. Secondly, Baba knew that this person will not be able to stand the rigors or the emotional, physical or the emotional part of new life. Therefore, Baba said, no, sorry, you cannot join. So this is how, and many wrote no, many wrote yes, many wrote no. So Baba said, it's okay. If you can't make it, you can't make it. So Baba is still there. So this is how it went. Let's come to the ladies, as to who are the ladies. Baba wanted to take only 4 ladies with him, just 4 ladies. And he chose Mera, Mani, Goher, possibly because Goher was, possibly, I'm not too sure, It's not mentioned anywhere, possibly because Goher was young, or possibly because Goher was a doctor. And naturally, you need a doctor. So possibly for women, a doctor was needed. So go ahead. Now the question was, who would be the fourth? There could be Meru, there could be Rano, there could be Katie, there could be Naja. So there was a big question mark as to who would be the fourth who would join Baba, and who would be the fourth which Baba would select. Now, talking about Katie, Katie was the youngest, and Katie had joined Baba relatively late. Relatively late. So Katie felt within her that there is no way Baba will take me, because I've just joined Baba and I'm very young, and Naja is Baba's niece, cousin, I beg your pardon, Masini Dikri. Naja is Baba's Masini Dikri, so naturally Baba will take Naja, or he will take Rano, he will take Katie, he will take Khorshid, or he'll take someone else. He will never take me. So this happened at Verazar, and she is watering the plants with hose pipe. And she is telling herself that there is no way Baba is going to take me. And what happened was that the ladies were told that you will go and stay at Nariman's house. You will go and stay at Akbar place. So likewise, you will go and stay at someone else's place in Bombay, someone else's place in Pune, with Gaima, etc. So she thought that I don't want to stay with anyone. She had no place to go. She had no house to go. So she's telling herself that I will commit suicide and I will end my life. But I will not, I can't live without Baba. I can't live without Merazat. I can't live without Mandle. I want nowhere to go. And I'm determined that the easiest path that I can choose is I will end my life. The moment, and maybe she had wet eyes. So Baba claps. And the moment Baba claps, she looks at the back. And the back is the cottage where Baba and Mera was seated. And Baba does like this. So she comes to Meru. Meru comes to Baba and says, yes, Baba. And Baba is, what are you thinking? Kaine, Baba, kaine, Baba, kaine. Come on, out with it, out with it. What were you thinking when you were watering the plant? What are you thinking there? Baba, kaine, Baba, kaine. So finally she says that, Baba, I know you're not going to take me. You're going to select someone else. I'm the youngest. I've come very recently. You're not going to take me. You will tell me to go here, there, everywhere and stay. I'm not going to do that. I can't live without you. I will end my life. After you go, I will end my life. Baba said, who told you about this? That I will take X, Y, Z. Who told you? But Baba, I know that. So Baba is telling Mera, tell her. So Mera is telling Meru that, Meru, don't be stupid, don't be, not exactly, maybe I'm exaggerating, but she told Meru that, Meru, you are the fool. You are going with us, you are coming with us. So that is when Meru, she was relieved that I'm going to be the fourth one. So that is the background of who came with Baba, who went with Baba during the new life. Now, during the new life, not only men and women monthly went with Baba, there were animals also, there were birds also, there were 2 camels, there were donkeys, and there were bullocks, and there were you name it, and they were there. And it was like a, a procession of people going about, walking about, and people on the road thought this is some circus troupe that is going about. Some people thought this is some film line crew going about for filming, etc. So these are the various thoughts that people got on the way. Now, Baba told initially when the tour started on 16th October, Baba went by train up to Banaras, so I forget exactly the name of the place. But over there, he calls Padri, and he tells Padri that I want you to make at Sarosi's motor works, I want you to make a caravan. And Baba gave him the specifications of the caravan as to exactly what he meant by caravan and what he wanted. So Baba told him that I want a wooden structure made with tires as wheels, and in the front will be a seat for the driver. Pendu was the one who was riding this caravan through the day. It was Pendu. So Pendu was with Baba. Naja wasn't. And and there was a handbrake, and there were these two bulls, strong bulls who pulled the caravan. And let's come to the structure of the caravan from inside. The door was at the back. We've all seen caravan, so basically you know it. The door was at the back, and if you open the door of the caravan, there are shelves on all three sides. There are shelves where the women kept their beddings, bedrolls, whatever, peti, petara, whatever it is. But at lower level, there were three benches. One bench on this side, one bench on this side, the length of the caravan, and one bench sideways. So like in a reverse inverted U shape, there were three benches. So the women, when at night, they slept on these three kind of benches. Well, if you see these benches, you'll wonder how they managed to sleep. Well, how did they not fall down? But whatever it is, this is how it was. And Meru, either Meru or Goher, I don't remember, slept on the floor of the bus. So that is how the women slept. So during the night, they slept in this caravan. And let's talk about the new life vis-a-vis the caravan. Baba started very early. He was an early riser, the women monthly, everyone were early risers. And they ended early. By around 6, they ended their walking, whatever. And the reason being that they followed the sun. In the early days, there were no electricity, there were only hurricanes and petromax and lanterns. So their lives were centered around the sun. So they got up early and they retired early. So at 4 o'clock in the morning, Baba would knock at the caravan door and tell them to get up and make tea, etc. So one by one, they would come out in their sleep, and someone would try and make some tea for themselves. And so that is how they made their tea and get freshened up and get ready to start walking. Then, and so that's how the caravan was used. And their change of clothes would be kept back in the caravan, etc. And Penda would come and take the caravan. Now, how did this walk go about? Right in the front, the man walked. Behind the man, Baba and Iraj walked. And behind Baba and Iraj, the women monthly walked. And behind the women monthly, the caravan. By caravan, I mean the animals, etc. And of course, behind them, the caravan by Pandu. And now the question is, Baba and the man would walk at a good pace, at a brisk pace. Now, if the women wanted to stop, how would they communicate with Baba in front that please halt, please stop? Behind them is a camel, right? So around the neck of the camel was a bell. So they would stop, the camel would stop, and they would ring the bell, which indicated in front of Baba that the women want them to stop. So Baba and Neeraj would stop, and men in front would stop, and then after a while, the whole procession would move. So this is how they move, and that's how at 6 in the evening, the women would go at a place where the caravan is brought. The bulls are taken away by Pandu, and the men would be somewhere a little away. That is where the men would rest for the night. Now the women are tired and they are maybe sweating and they are full of dust. It was all walking. The whole of New Life was by and large walking tour. So now they want to change, they want to ease themselves, they want to freshen up. And what happened was the locals ran to this place where the caravan stopped, and they would surround the women monthly, and they would keep looking at this contraption called the caravan. And they had never seen anything like this. They had seen a bullock cart, but they had not seen this kind of a contraption which had a handbrake and the bulls brought it, and which had a tire. So they were quite amused because something which they have never seen before in their lifetime. So they are all looking, and the men are there, the women are there. Now these 4 women monthly, they want privacy after a day's tour, walking like crazy. They want to ease themselves, they want to change, they want to wash themselves. And the men are gawking at them, looking at them. So these 4 women, yes, one of the conditions of New Life was not to get upset, not to get angry at anyone, within or without the New Life. So because of this restriction on getting upset and shouting, and they had to keep calm, they had to keep cool. And because they had to keep calm, all they could do was to request people, to request that please go away from here, please go away from here. And the men would go, they would look at the caravan. And after a lot of cajoling, men would go, but the women are still there. The women are still looking at them. And then it would take a lot of time to tell these women also, please jaiye, aap to behno jaiye, please jaiye. So this is how it took time, and then thereafter they cooked their supper and they ate. So this is how the life was with Baba, with New Life, with the caravan at their disposal. So basically, this is it. Sam, it is 6:48. If someone wants to talk about it, please. I would encourage someone to talk about it.
Jimmy, we have tried to dig out the song, the New Life Ka Tarana.
Oh, wow.
If you'd like to have it played.
Please. I'm a little tired.
Janice, is it possible?
Uncle, can we take the questions? Just need 2 minutes to find out.
If there are.
Jimmy, I remember a story narrated by Iraj about this New Life. Okay, one day they stopped somewhere for lunch, and there was under a tree, and there was some very rukha sukha chapati, bhakri and all that, and they were just nothing very fancy. It was very, very frugal meal. And
Sam, it was never fancy.
Yes.
With Baba, it was never fancy. Go ahead.
So there were these crows And I think it was Dr. Ghani who pointed out and said, okay, you know, these crows are saying, okay, what kind of food these fellows are eating? Even we wouldn't touch this kind of food. And everybody laughed and it was forgotten. Many years later, when Baba was lying in bed, one day he called up Erach. Erach was beside, and he said, do you remember in that new life when we were in that this thing, in that little forest under the tree and all that? Erach said, yes, Baba. And he said, there were these crows. He said, yes, I remember. And we laughed. And he said, okay, the crows were envious. They were saying, how fortunate are these people to sit in the company of the Lord himself and partake of whatever he is doling out to them. So that is one thing which has registered very strongly in my mind. Okay, this is how things are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Erech used to say that life or living with Baba wasn't fun. It was hard, it was this thing, but there was joy. He used the word joy. In spite of all the hardships, there was still that inner joy. Of course, they would sometimes lose their temper, this, that, and the other, like us all human beings. But somehow or the other, Baba would pacify and manage the situations beautifully.
Yeah.
Janice, are we ready? Hello?
Someone else wants to say something.
Uncle, I found one video, but towards the end, it ends abruptly. Is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead, whatever it is.
Yeah. I don't know why people don't want to talk or participate. I just fail to understand that.
Sam, it is lovely to see that the blue bus and the caravan are still around for us.
Yes.
For posterity and for
Yeah.
us too. We would never have known.
Exactly.
We would never have walked inside the blue bus.
You must have taken so much of trouble to
Absolutely.
make it into the shape that it is in at the present. Yeah.
And they are in good shape.
Absolutely. Yes.
They are in good shape.
Uncle, shall I start?
Please.
Please go.
Sorry, the sound was not there. Just a minute.
Ghani was a very lazy chap.
Yeah.
Extremely lazy chap. He didn't want to play even games.
Yeah.
He was so lazy that he would, and he told Baba, please excuse me, and this that. Baba knew. He said, no, okay, do whatever you like. but he was intelligent. He was brilliant,
Yes.
and Baba gave him a lot of leeway because he was his schoolmate, school chum. So there also Baba gave him a kind of a leeway.
I'll play the video again, Uncle. Sorry for the delay.
जीना तुम्हें लेकर नई जिंदगानी।
This is Namdev Solapure.
फर्क दिल से ये दुनियाए पानी, सुनो मेहर बाबा की खुशबानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी, सुनो मेहर बाबा की। खुदा के भरोसे पे हम जा रहे हैं, खुदा के भरोसे पे हम जा रहे हैं, कसम से इरादों को गरमा रहे हैं। गजल नामुरादी की हम गा रहे हैं, गजल नामुरादी की हम गा रहे हैं, बला और मुसीबत को भुलवा रहे हैं, सुनो मेहर बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों हानी, सुनो मेहर बाबा की। उम्मीदों का रोना, नवादों का शिकवा शिकवा, उम्मीदों का रोना, नवादों का शिकवा, न इज्जत है मत न दिल्लत की परवाह, न गीबत किसी की न खतरा किसी का, न गीबत किसी की न खतरा किसी का, यही रंग है अब अपनी जिंदगी का, सुनो मेहर बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी, सुनो मेहर बाबा की। ख्यालों में उलझन है बाकी न बंधन है, निखवत न गुस्सा न कुछ काम कंचन, ख्यालों में उलझन है बाकी न बंधन है, निखवत न गुस्सा न कुछ काम कंचन, है मजहब से रिश्ता मजहब से रिश्ता, न कुछ फिक्र तन मन, सवार एक किश्ती में शेखों भी है मन, सुनो मेहर बाबा खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी, सुनो मेहर बाबा की। न अपने लिए कोई छोटा बड़ा है, न अपने लिए कोई छोटा बड़ा है, मुरीद और मुर्शिद ना मौला रहा है। अखवत का बाहम जो रिश्ता जुड़ा है, अखवत का बाहम जो रिश्ता जुड़ा है, हमें दर्दो गम में मजा आ रहा है, सुनो मेहर बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी, सुनो मेहर बाबा की। न दुनिया न उक़बा, न दोज़ख न जन्नत, न सिद्धि न शक्ति, न कश्फ करामत, सब नक्शे बातिल, ये सब नक्शे बातिल हुए दिल से रुखसत, ये सब नक्शे बातिल हुए दिल से रुखसत, जो कुछ है वो हाल की कदरों की, सुनो महल बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी, सुनो महल बाबा की। ये अल्फाज बाबा के सुन दिल से प्यारे, ये अल्फाज बाबा के सुन दिल से प्यारे, शुमार अब मेरा है बराबर तुम्हारे, हुक्म अच्छे बुरे दू के न्यारे, मगर हुक्म अच्छे बुरे दू के न्यारे, बजा लाओ फौरन खुदा के सहारे, सुनो महल बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी, सुनो महल बाबा की। अगर आसमाने मुसीबत भी टूटे, सदाकत का हाथों से दामन न छूटे, चमन या सो हिरमाने हर चंद लूटे, चमन या सो हिरमाने हर चंद लूटे, तवक्कल से इनमें लगा बेल बूटे बूटे, सुनो महल बाबा की जुबानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी, सुनो महल बाबा की। चले दिल पे छुरियां, चले दिल पे छुरियां, मगर लबों खंदार, ये एक रंग जिसको करता हूँ उरियां, तेरे तंग दस्ती में दौलत है पिन्हा, तेरे तंग दस्ती में दौलत है पिन्हा, गदाई पे तेरे करे रश्क शाह, सुनो महल बाबा की खामोश बानी, इसी में है सब आशिकों की कहानी, सुनो महल बाबा की। है बेशक खुदा बरहक नबी है, हर दौर दाम वली है, हमें तो फकत बेबसी बेकसी है, हमें
Jai Meher Baba. As Janice said, it ended abruptly, but this was beautiful rendition by none other than Namdev Sholapure. I knew the man very well, and someday I will talk at length about this one lover of God who depended solely on Baba and Baba alone. Jimmy Khan, all yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, he died in abject poverty. Poor guy.
Yes, yes, yes.
Feel very sorry for him. Really sorry for him.
My only prayer to Baba is that wherever his soul may be, please keep his nazar. Baba may keep his nazar on it.
Yes, I'm through. I'm through now.
Okay, we need someone to do the Aarti. Or Shabi, can anyone volunteer to do the Aarti? What about Janice? Since you haven't done the prayer today, would you like to do the Aarti?
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
just okay. Oh, glorious, eternal, ancient one, your face is a bright, transcendental sun. Lighten this dark world and the tears I weep. My heart may here I give to you to keep. Creator yet creationless you are. Truth and truth's body, divine avatar. Who through compassion the three worlds maintains. Destroy this ignorance that life sustains. These five lights are the whirling spokes of breath of the world will that bears me on to death. Unless you who are infinitely kind break the wheels of which is conditioned mind. This incense is my love, these fruits my art, which to please you I have shaped from my heart. Accept them as you would a simple flower that has no use beyond its shining art. You are myself, I sing to you in praise and beg your love to bear me through the days till you, the ever-living perfect one, illume my darkness with your shining sun. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Thank you, Janice. This has been a beautiful evening, remembering Meher Baba, feeling his presence, listening to the New Life ka song. What more can one ask for in life? Thank you, everybody. Jimmy Khan, Janice, Darayas, and all the other people who have made this program possible. But more than anyone else, I would like to thank Baba for having made this program roll out the way he wished it to be. Thank you, everybody. And take good care of yourselves. And cling on to his Daman, come what may. That is all that I can say. Janice, would you like to conclude your famous speech?
Jai Baba, everyone. Uncle, we can show that video again, the song video when you talk about Namdev ji. That
I would
evening
love
we
to
can.
talk about Namdev Solapure, where it may be about 15-20 minutes ka talk. But he was a fine man. He was a fine man. I love that man very much. Anyway.
So thank you, Baba, for everything. And thank you, Baba, and you all for joining us. See you all next week. Till then, stay safe. Take care. Baba Nigeba. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai.
Jai.
Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai.
Yeah. Thank you.